So thanks for everyone for joining. Um, Today we'll be covering Wi-Fi 6, the latest journey of wider standards, and how this will benefit businesses with a return to work. Firstly, as an introduction, my name is Tom Glenn. I work as part of the Enterprise Networks team here at ISDM. I'm joined by my colleague Richard, who will just say a quick hello.
Yeah, hi, I'm Richard Shelley. I head up the Enterprise Networks and Security Division for ICM Solutions.
Thanks, Rich. And as you can see on the agenda here, we'll start by providing an overview of ISDM, along with the journey and benefits of Wi-Fi 6. I'll then hand over to my colleague Richard, who will cover how Wi-Fi 6 will benefit the return to the office, and also the Cisco offering, which has Wi-Fi 6 incorporated. As this is one of our mission statements here, so it's something that is echoed by our sort of strategic partnership with Cisco and Meraki when it comes to who we work exclusively with from a network and security perspective. So established in 2012, ISDM has rapidly grown into an international operation, supporting our global businesses from our UK offices in Belfast, Halifax and Cambridge, and then also further overseas in Washington in the US and Singapore. ISDM provides end-to-end consultancy across network infrastructure, security, collaboration, and smart building technology. Hardware and software is only part of the journey. User experience is key, whether that's in the office, working remotely, working from home, traveling, or on customer sites. ISDM specializes in the design and deployment of technology solutions that can efficiently bring your teams together to achieve and succeed. The ISDM Networks division, which me and Rich are a part of, was established in December 2019 to both diversify from the traditional ISDM core business, which is collaboration, but also support the successful delivery of projects within existing businesses. Now fully integrated into the ISDM core principles, which I'll cover shortly, ISDM Enterprise Networks is working with key customers to drive them to their digital journey. We are guided by our sort of 5 operating principles here. So they are the DNA that define how we do business, interact with our colleagues, partners, and customers. As we expand into new markets, recruit new talent, face new challenges, these principles set the standards by which each member of the wider ISDM hold themselves to account every day. They are at core of everything we do, building and strengthen our culture and our commitment to quality in everything we do. Since Wi-Fi was first released to consumers in 1999, Wi-Fi standards have been continuing evolving. I won't say how old I was in 1999, by the way, but these fast changes in Wi-Fi and the journey is resulting in faster speeds and further coverage. With every new compatibility comes a name change to set the standards apart. As compatibilities are added to the original IEEE standards, 802.11, as you'll be familiar with, they become known by their amendments. So that might be 802.11b, 11g, etc. Wi-Fi 6 is the latest standard of Wi-Fi, similar to how mobile broadband has progressed from 3G through to 4G and now 5G. Wi-Fi is evolving in an effort to not be left behind. As with previous generations, Wi-Fi 6, also known as 802.11ax, will improve high-density performance and provides faster throughput in addition to this new generation of Wi-Fi, will augment customer speed and density improvements with new capabilities designed for technology and trends of the future. IoT, which is even more and more prevalent now with different use cases, will represent more than half of the global connected devices by 2022. Virtual and augmented reality network traffic is poised to grow 12-fold by 2022. Wi-Fi networks of the future need to be nimble and efficient to accommodate increased client density, high throughput requirements, and a diversity of new applications.
I really like that slide, Tom, and thanks for sharing that. What I'm getting out of that is obviously that there's the Wi-Fi standards have moved on, the speeds have increased exponentially that Wi-Fi can offer, but at the same time, it's also exponentially increased the amount of devices that are connecting to it. So you actually maybe just standing still, you're not moving forward. So this jump to Wi-Fi 6 is a real benefit, but you have got to consider that contention ratio as well as the throughput that Wi-Fi is offering you. Thanks for that, Tom.
No worries, Rich. Thank you. And Wi-Fi 6 will not only deliver more consistent performance across a large number of devices, but also faster speeds to every device. Higher throughputs will unlock a new set of software and services, like augmented reality and complex software as a service apps, in the same way that previous Wi-Fi standards made things like wireless music streaming and cloud productivity apps possible. Wi-Fi 6 enables greater energy efficiency as well by reducing the battery burden on devices connected to the wireless network. A feature called Target Wake Time (TWT) lets APs dictate a schedule for sending data and data packets to connect to the clients. When devices aren't scheduled to check for data, they enter low power modes. TWT can help devices achieve up to 60% lower power consumption, which could make tomorrow's phones, IoT devices, and applications last longer. Did you know that 80% of companies report problems with their radio frequency interference, known as RFI? And these features you see here, these are the Cisco sort of Wi-Fi 6 benefits. And Cisco Clean Air technology provides proactive protection against RFI and takes automatic action to avoid current and future interference. A very common example of interference is Bluetooth. This is because most Bluetooth devices work by sending signals over a 2.4 gigahertz radio frequency, and this interference occurs if there are any other devices nearby that use similar frequencies, with Wi-Fi connections being a perfect example of that, as they rely on channels between 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Same goes for other devices such as phones, tablets, laptops, and Bluetooth headphones, etc., which means Cisco's Clean Air technology can play an important part in the user experiences when employees return back to the office. Lastly, before I move on, I appreciate this isn't a benefit specifically to Wi-Fi 6. However, it's worth mentioning Cisco's partnership with Apple, which started in 2015. The latest collaboration with Apple is called Fastlane Plus, which will offer more enjoyable user experiences for those with Apple devices, which is very common. And it will essentially any sort of any person with Apple devices within connected to a Wi-Fi 6 sort of devices, such as a Catalyst 9000 access point, which Cisco do, will prioritize apps such as WebEx, FaceTime, and other priority apps like Microsoft Teams. And I'll hand over to Rich to go take us through the return to office.
Thanks for that, Tom. So what I'd like to talk about is we can talk about Wi-Fi 6, we can talk about standards, and we can talk about speeds and connectivity. But really what we need to talk about is how that affects you, your users, and specifically at the minute, those users returning to the office. So I think what we need to do to start that is take a step back and think how the office was used pre-COVID pandemic and pre this flexible working that everybody's now talking about. So you'd have an office, most people would have a fixed desk, and they'd either be connected to the network via a desktop PC or a docking station that was wired into the network. The wireless in those offices then predominantly was used for that user wanting to get up and go and use a desk somewhere else with a colleague, or maybe walk into a meeting room and wirelessly share the content to a screen in that meeting room. That's not what's going to happen when people come back. The offices are going to be redesigned. There's going to be huddle spaces. There's going to be sofa spaces. There's going to be hot desking. You'll probably, for a lot of organisations, have to book a hot desk before you go in. You'll not be sat at the same space. So people automatically will be utilising that wireless significantly more. Not only that, the wireless, the devices using that wireless will be using it for different things. If you take video calling as an example, again, in a traditional office, you maybe did a video call from a video meeting room, a video enabled meeting room. Whereas now you'll be using WebEx, you'll be using Zoom, you'll be using Microsoft Teams, and that will be multiple people all on separate ad hoc calls from wherever they happen to be sat at the time. And that could be that hot desk, it could be a meeting room, or it could be a huddle room. So the high bandwidth, low latency applications like video need to be optimized. And that's what we're talking about Wi-Fi 6 now for. That's what Wi-Fi 6 can support when you come back to the office, ensuring those applications are fully supported for the multiple users that will be in on that particular day. It'd be really embarrassing, wouldn't it, if people went back to the office and the service they got for a Microsoft Teams call was worse in the office than it was on their home broadband. And that's what we're dealing with a lot of our customers on at the minute, and that's what we're supporting them on, some consultancy to ensure it's ready for when people do return. If you'd like to move on, please, Tom. However, not everyone's going back to the office. We've all heard that. It's all over the press. We're not all going to go back, and we'd have all missed an opportunity if we did go back to the same way of working. So whilst the office needs to support the new technologies and new applications, we've all been working from home and using Zoom and WebEx and the Microsoft Teams. But it's kind of been done on an ad hoc way for a lot of our customers, and the feedback we're getting from our customers. So they enabled these services, but it's not necessarily being thought about long term. It was thought of a stopgap to get people working. So now what we're consulting with our customers is around how you provision that home office for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And as an example, I had a quick look last night around my home wireless. My Sky broadband router had 27 devices connected to it last night at about 9 o'clock. I'm hoping a couple of them wasn't the kids' phones because they should have been asleep, but you never know. And that just shows how many devices are competing for these wireless solutions. So the other issue we've got with that is people are logging on to the SSID for the home broadband router. They've not been managed by the corporate policies from the office. So using Cisco technology, you can use Office Extend as a solution, whereas Cisco Wi-Fi 6 AP is putting that home office behind the broadband router from whatever vendor. All the rest of the users using the Xbox or YouTube or downloading their TikTok videos or uploading their TikTok videos if they're so inclined can be on the home broadband, but segregated securely and with the same policies and same SSID as the office. That worker is on a separate wireless AP, completely separated away from the rest of the network. Meraki also has its own version of Office Extend. So we're doing a lot of work with our customers at the minute around sorting out the main office, but extending that office policy and procedure into the home office. So it's a seamless experience for that user. No matter where they go, they don't change how they operate. They don't dial up on a client VPN. It's the same service no matter where they sit. Next slide, please, Tom. I feel like I've got my own Chris Whitty helping me out on this. So yeah, I wanted to talk about, whilst it's not a deep dive into the different AP models and the feeds that the feeds and speeds that those AP models have got, we can do that as a follow-up webinar if people want us to. I just wanted to highlight the two purchasing methods for Wi-Fi 6 APs from Cisco, our vendor partner. So you got the Cisco Meraki Cloud Managed Wireless. Meraki's been around for a number of years now, was purchased by Cisco. Where would you position Meraki? In my opinion, that's if you've got a lean IT team, so a small IT department within a business, multiple sites, geographically dispersed sites, where you need to send an AP out, a local person just physically connect it up, and then provision it all from a central single pane of glass. That's where Meraki can really benefit and speed up that deployment of these solutions. The other time you definitely position Meraki is if you've got an existing solution set from the Meraki product portfolio, so Meraki MS switches or Meraki MX firewalls. Every time you add a product set into that Meraki portfolio, you're getting more of your return on investment for that single pane of glass management from the Meraki dashboard. On the other side of the slide, you've got the Cisco 9000 series wireless access points. So arguably you position this more at the enterprise level. So you've got a larger IT team. You really want to get granular into what your control and configurations are around your wireless settings. Or indeed, you've already got an investment in Cisco Catalyst 9300, 9200 series switches where you're running Cisco DNA, because the 9000 series can also run Cisco DNA subscriptions to get automation features out of Cisco DNA. So that's where you position the two product sets. However, it's not a a one-size-fits-all. If one of our customers is approaching us to see what solution would fit them, we consult with them, we understand their business needs, we work out what existing equipment they got that needs any integration, and we'd recommend based on those specific requirements for that customer. One last point on this slide around any future purchases of wireless. Cisco are still offering their 0% finance over 3 years offer. So both options could be a capex upfront purchase, but you can also spread that cost over 3 years, 36 payments at 0%. Thank you, Tom. Next slide, I think. Yeah, jump on to the next one as well. So obviously, we're always doing this webinar to try and advise our customers what we can do to help. That's what we're here for. So the services ISDM can offer around this return to work and assessing your existing Wi-Fi. We've got a few offerings that we can help with. So the first one is an existing network assessment. It could be that your existing Wi-Fi will do exactly what you need it to do, but you don't want to leave it until you've got 30 people in the office complaining and saying they can't get the MS Teams calls working. So we can do an assessment of your existing network, and that would include the switching as well. So we'd look at the wireless, look at the switching, ensure it's fit for purpose for what you're trying to achieve with your office reopening. End of life product reviews. So it could be that your existing wireless is not supported by the manufacturer anymore. You can't get additional APs of the same model, so there's no integration there. And we can do an assessment of that for you, so we can advise on a roadmap from moving from where you are now to where you need to get to be to a supported product set and a future-proof product set. Support contracts ties into the previous point around end-of-life product reviews, because often the wireless traditionally was seen as ad hoc. If it went down for a day, did it really matter? People would find a wired connection. Again, with the changes to how wireless has been used moving forward, it is critical. So you don't want to have wireless downtime for more than an hour or so, because people rely on it. So we can put support contract wraps around any new wireless solutions or any existing wireless solutions that Cisco current offerings. ISDM can provide a service wrap around that for you. Wireless site surveys. So this is something we do a lot of for various industries, office-based, warehouses, etc. So we use a tool called Ekahau, the industry leading survey tool for wireless site surveys, and that can provide an assessment of your current wireless coverage, the bandwidth that that solution is offering, and any interference that you've got within that network that needs mitigating to give you the best user experience. Linked into that, we have a number of our customers that are looking at downsizing offices. So they may be looking to either refurb or downsize or reduce their floor space. Based on those floor plans, we can do a desktop wireless survey to recommend what wireless capability you need to service that new floor space. And we can do that as an ad hoc service or even an on-site service using Ekahau wireless site survey tools. And the final couple of points, we can do a quality of service review for the entire network. So the key for these video applications that need low latency and high prioritization is making sure they get the priority over less critical applications like email deliveries. So there's no harm in an email being delivered by a couple of seconds. The use of a video call or an audio call is delayed by a couple of seconds. So we can look at the end-to-end quality of service and prioritization of those applications across your wireless and switch network to ensure it's optimized as best it possibly can be. And yep, the final point then is with our manufacturer partner Cisco and Cisco Meraki, we can offer proof of concepts and trial offers of equipment, so you can try before you buy. And I think that's my last slide, Tom.
Thanks, Rich. And yeah, as a thank you for everyone who's attended this webinar, we're offering an exclusive discount of 20% off our wireless site surveys. And this can also act as a call to action as well, just to to help ensure that when your employees return, even for a few days a week, the wireless network will be ready for their demands, giving your company the best chance to hit the ground running. But yeah, thank you for attending.
Thanks for that, Tom. The other thing I'd like to add around the wireless surveys is the time to do that is now. It's not The timing to do it when people are back in the office is to get the officers ready for that return to work. Otherwise, the downtime that you'll have trying to retrospectively fix issues will be very disruptive for those users returning. The other thing we often say is people look at the cost of an upfront wireless site survey. We often, if a project is then taken to upgrade that wireless, credit the cost of that survey back as part of the project, future project. So that's something we can discuss for any people that need to discuss that further post this webinar. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll open the floor to questions.